Welcome to the Voices of the Past podcast, a programme that explores past life on Barton Hill in East Bristol. The stars of the show are the voices of the people from Barton Hill, all recorded by the Barton Hill History Group in the 1980s and 90s. We will share memories and stories directly from first-hand accounts, their stories told their way with their voice and their Barton Hill accent. So sit back and listen and enjoy Voices of the Past. And as one Barton Hill resident said, if he's got any tears, prepare to shed them now.
Episode 3. Voices of the Cotton Workers.
In the previous episodes, we heard the voices of the people and community of Barton Hill. This episode will listen to the voices of the cotton workers. The Great Western Cotton Works at the bottom of Main Street on Barton Hill dominated the lives of local people for over 100 years, employing up to 2,000 people, many of them women and young girls. It is part of Bristol's history that has been forgotten for so long by historians. The stories of the workers must be told. When the Great Western Cotton Factory was opened in 1838, it was the most modern, fully integrated cotton works built in southern England. The buildings and machinery were well ahead of their time. Sadly, the way it was managed and the way the workers were exploited was so backward thinking. The factory was mainly funded by compensation given out after the abolition of slavery. Bristol was controlled by an elite group of extremely wealthy and very influential merchants, industrialists, bankers and politicians, many who were slavers. It was their dirty money that went into setting up the cotton works. The feeder canal was the main artery that fed the raw materials and took out the finished products from the industrial heart of Bristol. As well as the cotton works, there was the Atterton Chemical Works, a colliery, licensed metal works and a tannery along the banks of the dirty mile of the feeder canal, all releasing their waste products into it. However, it was the cotton works that stood out both physically and economically. It was the lifeblood of Barton Hill. The voices you will hear highlight the very difficult working conditions that many Barton Hill cotton workers had to cope with. William Saniger, in 1954, in his book Leaves from a Barton Hill Notebook, wrote,
"One day in 1838 that great bulk stood complete, and its wooden jaws gaped wide. From the high turret an iron voice called far and loud over the fields, and in the grey morning light, from the rookeries beyond Lawford's gate, from the courts and alleys of the Dings, came crowds of strange men and women, hurrying across the stream, over the hill, and through the green lanes by Duffert's house, to be gulped unresisting into the ravening belly of the giant cotton factory waiting just below the garden gate."
When I left school, I started to start work and work hard. I had 2 jobs to go to one morning, one on the tailoring at 7 and 6 a week, and one in the cotton factory at 5 shillings, 7 and 6 a week in the cotton factory, and 5 shillings a week in Dickie Parsons' tailoring.
I started in there when I was 14. I was in there till I was about 16 and a half or 17. I was on 2 looms. Always started work at 7:30 in the morning and finish at 6 o'clock. My money used to run out about 13 shillings or 14 shillings a week for all those hours, Saturday mornings and all. It was rough, but we got over it.
Do you know much about the cotton factory?
Well, what I know about the actual cotton factory, it was a horrible place. It was humid, and the heat that used to come out of there when we used to be running out down the lane. And I said, my dad, I said, we're from age of 10, we're at half time in the cotton factory.
William Saniger, a local resident of Barton Hill, captured the feelings that many workers in the factory would have felt. Its dominating presence and the dark shadow it cast of tough working conditions and long days of low pay. "It was rough, but we got over it," said one cotton factory voice. Next time, join us as we hear about the arduous conditions workers faced during a shift at the cotton factory. Thank you for listening to the Voices of the Past podcast. This production is a collaboration between Garry Atterton, the Barton Hill History Group and music duo Charlie and Jake. Special thanks to the National Heritage Lottery Fund for their support, and of course none of this would have been possible without the many voices of the past, sharing their stories in their own words. For more information about the project, to connect with others and to view our live stream event, visit our website voicesofthepast.org.uk.